A sunny Friday is the start for the first day of the adventure. Teams and service trucks from all over Europe and even further arrived in this little valley where all the Yorga awaits them. Others, arriving by plane at the International Airport of Sofia, are picked up by the Breslau shuttle for a 2-hour drive towards the city of Tetevan.
I have seen only the bikes and I know some of them, so I'm sure it's part of our Breslau family and it will be a very nice competition.
Same Orga people who manage the Breslau Poland are here to give their best on this epic journey, which will include over 1,800 kilometers of special stages for the cross-country class and over 1,300 kilometers for the extreme class categories.
Искаме се да нямаме или ако имаме да бъдат малки нараняванията. Взели сме всякакви мерки, невероятни мерки, дори хеликоптер спасителен имаме, който ще кацне буквално след 15 минути тук на площадката, но не е приятно, когато видиш, че някой трябва да бъде откаран в болница. Това си пожелавам. Всичко друго ще бъде окей. Ние сме го предвидели другото.
One 8 days long race experience that has no other match has just started and will result in a lifetime memory. After the flooding rainstorm in the night, the sun shined upon the welcome briefing. The briefing was held at the same place where over 140 years ago the freedom fighters for Bulgarian independence gave their lives for the free people of Bulgaria. Since then, the valley receives the name Kostina, which in Bulgarian language means the Bone Valley. Here, after so much time, other people are getting ready to start their fight with the long and hard stages of the Balkan Breslau Rally 2013.
Определено идваме за фан, както се казва, все пак за тръпка.
За да спечелиш Бреслау, ти трябва добър автомобил, добър екипаж не само от пилот и навигатор, но и от асистенция и голяма доза късмет.
As a tradition, the race director Alexander Kovachev gives a warm welcome speech to all who dare to face this challenge.
Good morning, everybody. I welcome you to the Balkan Breslau 2013. It's so nice that you're here. Yesterday you saw we had very unfortunate weather with the rain, but today it's over and the best days will be very shiny. This is what I got promised from Uncle God.
This international group consisted of many experienced and other less experienced drivers and co-drivers are taking notes on the most important issues regarding this rally. Everything is made as easy as possible, following the well-known FIA type of road books, stage details given at their best, and time cards developed especially for the Breslau. Notes on how not to forget to switch on the GeoTrack GPS system, helping the teams and the Orga, and many more are given at this briefing. And as it is Breslau, it comes in 5 languages: English, German, French, Polish and Bulgarian, all at one place for everyone. As the race director explains, this day promises to be breathtaking, an 8 kilometers long prologue stage, climbing the highest peak around, followed by a late show at the city center of Tetevan, and then a 100 kilometers night stage over the open long ridges and pine forests in Staroplina mountain. The big fight for the starting positions has started. First, the teams must reach the peak driving on a serpentine gravel and rocky road, and after reaching 1,500 meters above the sea level, they must descend 800 meters down into the valley. All open spaces are crowded with fans who are not scared of the cold weather and the fast wind, which actually was causing the helicopter pilots some troubles. With each passing team, the public gets crazier, cheering everyone on the way to the top, where a transit checkpoint awaits. Safety marshals are positioned on key spots to keep an eye on the teams if something goes wrong. Medical teams are ready to go if a signal is given, and the media people fighting the cold wind making their best shots on the first day at the Balkan Breslau Rally 2013.
So we're on the prologue stage on the top of a mountain. It's a little bit frisky, 6 degrees I believe, but there's already some changes in positions. The guys are really going for it. I think it promises to be a good week. Let's hope it gets a bit warmer, that the Bulgarian sunshine warms us up a bit. And yeah, we're really looking forward to a great week racing.
Сега след пролога беше ясно, че явно темпото ми е малко високо рали темпо, защото я прилича да стигнах или следател и карах дълго време след него, и петото време ме изненада. Сега ми светка червената лампа, че тук нататък трябва да намаля значително темпото, ако искам да отида на финала.
What could gather all people in the city at one place? A festival? Or maybe a helicopter landing? Or the main square filled with colorful cars and bikes? A square dressed accordingly for a large event. The outback flags shining big, the arches blown wide open, marshals at each corner, the medical cars with their lights on, and the race VIPs. The Prime Minister of Sports in Bulgaria, the town mayor who is also racing the event, and many other people involved in the creation and the run of Balkan Breslau Rally 2013.
Аз, разбира се, пожелавам успех на всички 70 екипажа от всичките 18 държави.
Първо трябваше да убеда господин Ковачев, Сашо Ковачев, който е собственик на това състезание, че Тетевен ще бъде един гостоприемен град.
Good evening, all the spectators here from the city of Tetovan. Thank you very much for the good welcome here for the start of the Balkan Breslau 2013.
It is now time for everyone to show and shine at the public, because with 8 days and over 25 special stages in the forests, plains and mountains, many will forget what the normal life is and will dive deep into what will later be called Planet Off-Road, the Balkan Breslau Rally 2013. After dawn, the race starts with a 107 kilometers long stage. There is tension in the air. Several watching points are filled with crowds almost as it is a part of the World Rally Championship. The time is right and the bikes open the first stage. As this is a mountain stage, the tracks are a combination of rocky paths and gravel roads, and the turns are very sharp. A full concentration is needed in order to keep the vehicle under control and save out of trouble all the time, no matter if it is a bike, a quad, an SSV or a car. With total darkness, it was very easy for the marshals at the top of the mountains to watch almost every participant passing the track until they finally reached the checkpoint and from there on the finish of the stage. But the night also provided some teams with plenty of trouble, from navigation errors to mechanical problems and even some rollovers, which caused the teams to quit the stage and get ready for the next ones. This night stage gave the teams one very clear idea on what they're going to face in the next days and who are the experienced teams to fight against. Day 2 of the adventure starts with a warm weather, totally different from the cold we had the past 2 days. The team start early on the first 3D day of 184 kilometers navigation for the cross-country class and 170 kilometers for the extreme class, from the city of Tetovan to the outskirts of the city of Starosel. In Starosel, the teams will be accommodated in a 4-star vineyard hotel and a beautiful camp in the vine field. But before that, they must undergo 4 timed sections. The first part for the teams is a river valley tarmac road on which they have to climb the mountain's highest ridges and then to descend on the northwest part of the Thracian plain. After driving around the pine forests and shady meadow tracks, teams must drive over 15 kilometers of wide open mountain ridge with a visibility of over 20 kilometers away. But don't be fooled. Those who are not paying attention to the road book and the track are easily understood, wasting time on navigation errors or repairs on the tracks due to loss of concentration when looking at the landscape. After the first 2 special stages, passing the Staroplanina mountain, the teams are welcomed to the first stages in the Srednagora mountain. It is a low mountain with dense forests and little ravines with lots of sharp turns and dusty roads. Here, some of the teams will learn the hard way why speed is less important over the precise navigation. Following the FIA standards for creating the road books, each important detail in the track is written according to their specifics, from water ditches to narrow bridges, tips and bumps. Nothing is left unnoted, and it is the co-pilot's work to give all these instructions in time. If not, the damage might be vital and, in some cases, even lethal. The extreme class today has a slide-off track from the cross-country track which made them pass over an abandoned road washed away from the closed river, and just before the finish, the teams must pass a dry river bed and climb on the near road while using winches and ladders. Easy obstacles for the first of many days to come. Motorsports are dangerous, and that is why Breslau requires and pays great attention to the technical check, road books checks, and at the end, medical care for the competitors. At Starosel, located in the bottom parts of Srednagora mountain, on the sunny south hill, the 4-star vineyard hotel awaits the competitors. This year, the Balkan Breslau rally has given the opportunity to teams to be accommodated in hotels near the camps. And what a complex we have! A spa winery with rich wine brands made at this place, with a tourist tour especially made for the Breslau people, a tour at the production line with a detailed explanation on key technology steps, and a finished deep underground, where the special storage place is built centuries ago from our ancestors. One true magical experience matching none other for those who dare to face the Balkan Breslau rally adventure. With 301 kilometers for the cross-country class, Day 3 was going to be one of the most interesting and hard days in the Balkan Breslau Rally 2013. Starting almost from the camp, the first special stage for the day, SSA, was taking the team south through the Croatian plain. It was a stage by which the vehicles were reaching speeds of over 130 km per hour and navigation over the open landscape was tricky. With these fast tracks, it was very easy again to miss the right intersections and lose time in the navigation. Stage number 2 for the cross-country class was also a mountain stage, Rhodop Mountains, which are one of the largest area in Bulgaria, and yes, it was a long stage, driving over 133 kilometers in speed of rocky roads with very slippery and narrow tracks. Each mistake costs a lot. Passing over one of the most beautiful places in Bulgaria, the teams didn't have time to relax at all. These mountain paths were as later were described as being harder than the whole rally combined in one.
Топите винаги предлагат много изненади. От кални, мочурливи изкачвания, осеяни струпи от тези, които секат дърва, до бързи макадамови пътища с много опасни завои, с много опасни мостове и с трудна навигация.
Закрила съм с пръст единицата и търся на 630 метра отсечка. Тръгнахме се връщаме, ударихме с пепи. После се оправихме, някъде те се загубиха и по едно време ние си оправихме хидравликата и видях как те минават покрай нас. Изобщо всички тия коли деца били тук са наиграли днеска, но трябва да кажа, че не е виновен организатора. Трасето е верно.
For the extreme class, the mountain stage was totally different. One short but very hard track which can be described only as a winch trophy track. Starting near the city of Plovdiv, the teams had to climb very hard rocky paths until they reached the marked sections, where in case they suffer a mechanical problem, the only way out is up via helicopter. Driving on these paths, the skills of each team in the extreme class were tested to the limits, winching up and down, passing camber angles requiring additional support, rocky river ravines and many more were the elements of the track. The highlight was a 600-meter rocky riverbed last used in the first real trophy in Bulgaria back in the year 2002 called Balkan Trophy. Since then, the rocky path has become again much harder and more interesting to watch and play. One true adventure trophy was created in these 600 meters, requiring lots of time and energy to pass. Each team passing this track received the deserved applause from the public that has gathered to watch. The third stage for the day was very fast again, a route back from Rhodop Mountains to the camp at Starosel. Again, a short technical fast stage where the damaged teams from the previous stage suffered for low speeds and the undamaged teams continued to fight for the ranking. Top speeds were again recorded and the exhaustion has started to show up. Reaching the camp, the team who managed to get some time off from their vehicles was able to use the natural hot water spring pool to relax, which was 24 hours at their disposal. One true magnificent place and a new off-road spa center after the hard day. Day 4 of the Balkan Breslau rally takes the competitors to the third camp, Sport Palace Hotel in the city of Sliven. But before that, the teams must face 4 mountain stages with 130 kilometers of timed sections. Starting directly from the camp in the vineyard, the teams must first cross Srednagora mountain in order to finish driving at the dam wall. A tricky stone path combined with azimuth navigation and the open green peaks get the teams from Starosel to the village of Klimen. The second stage for the day was opened, 1 month flowing scenery at the town of Domland. Mother Nature had created a unique landscape, one true art of its own. The teams had just a couple of minutes to relax and enjoy this landscape before they start on the second low mountain stage. The second stage was some can call it a WRC cross stage, where speed was high over the gravel tracks inside the forest. Again, with all notes listed in the road book, the co-pilot had to keep up reading without the option to watch the track. Here, the teams were suffering from a very fine gravel powder which was sticking to all radiators and made the vehicles heat easily. After a 60-kilometer stage, the teams had almost 2.5 hours to pass over 70 kilometers of liaison and a service stop. A well-deserved rest before the next 2 special stages in the rocky high mountain tracks of Starokina mountain. At this 4th day of driving, the first signs of fatigue are starting to show up. Common problems are gearbox problems and overheating. This made some teams to lower the pace in order to save the vehicles, but others pushed. This game was among the best prepared teams and it was not going to end here. The last 12 kilometers were very fast over gravel and old asphalt tracks, which again, even their easy passage, required the skills of the pilots to keep the vehicles in one piece. With a finish line at the wind turbine facility, the teams are almost at the middle of the race. There are more than 900 kilometers left of stages to clear and many problems to solve before the last finish line.
Днеска е 5-ти етап. Стартираме от летището на Сливен. Кросовете и екстрем стартират заедно, обаче ще бъдат на 2 отделни трасета, с 2 отделни финала.
I hope it will be good as days before. But today is a very demanding day. We've got a lot of turns, long road book. I hope it will be alright.
After passing the hardest days of all, the 5th day of the Balkan Breslau gives the team some time to relax. But not quite, actually. Starting at Sliven's airfield landing strip, the cross-country teams had the fastest track prepared for them. A 250 kilometers of wide-open tracks with many of the teams reaching speeds of over 100 kilometers per hour. These were one of the most intense days for both the Yorga and the medical teams. After the first start, the medical helicopter was always in the air and ready for a signal. It was the only vehicle which could get on the point of need in the shortest possible time. Luckily, it wasn't used as intended. The cross-country tracks were made entirely in the northeast part of the Thracian Plains, which made them very friendly for the teams. Still, it was vital to read the roadbook notes. Most of them were triple danger marked. Only 14 kilometers of today's stage were on asphalt road, which made the stage very tricky when driving on it. The geo-track system was put on a serious test today because it had to calculate and check over 20 speed limit sections for each competitor. As it is used both for bonuses and time deductions, it also gives penalties. It wasn't uncommon this day for the GPS marshals to give penalties for speeding, because driving off-road at speeds of over 80 km per hour and then driving on asphalt with 50 km per hour, the rapid change in the pace needed to be handled very precisely. While the cross-country teams were fighting to keep up maximum speed, the extreme class were fighting to drive and not to winch. Today's stage for them was only 117 kilometers, but that was more than enough. After starting from the land strip at the airport, the teams quickly turned left inside the riverbed before facing an almost 5-meter high vertical hill to climb. Some of the teams reached the top and continued on their way towards the rest of only mountain stage, while the others needed some more time to winch the hill. Again, the navigation was tricky with one hard azimuth course, which made the teams to lose lots of time to find a way towards it. This time, the service teams had the chance to watch their teams in the action just behind the service park. As this point is very close to the public, it was all filled with spectators to watch the section and have fun. After a short drive over the mountain tops, the teams enter a riverbed passing through the whole village. A real challenge for some of the teams was to pass over 6 kilometers of this river just before exiting it and reaching the finish line at the top of a mountain pass. And while the extreme class vehicles were fighting in the riverbed, the cross-country class vehicles were literally flying over their sections. With a second stage for a day of 73 kilometers, there was only one long azimuth course just before using the same service railroad track where the top speeds were recorded. And again, the organizers didn't make it easy to finish. 5 kilometers before the finish of the stage, the teams enter again the military polygon in order to find several azimuth points and then reaching the airfield. Day 6 was a long-expected day for some of the teams, the track leading to the Black Sea. But first they had to drive a marathon stage of another 270 kilometers in mountain. Another hard day with plenty of gravel and rocky roads, many river crossings and lots of forest dust. The teams were introduced to another portion of typical for Starplanina mountain terrain, at which they had to watch out at each turn. This part of the mountain is not very high, and there were lots of roads, mostly gravel ones, which made this day easier. The bike riders, except for watching out for nasty bumps and ditches, had to be careful also for the cars and cattle running freely around the open valleys. The extreme class today had only one hard section where the co-pilots were forced to get wet. Another rocky river with several steps to go down. After that, a 2 kilometers run over a sandy river with many waterholes. A place where they could cool down a bit before going into forest tracks and paths. With the last 80 kilometer stage, the day's finish was at the beach, just meters away from the last camp of the Balkan Breslau. The teams reached the sandy dunes and then head north with a 4 kilometer straight line towards their waiting timekeepers. This last section made a couple of changes in the ranking for the teams which were not familiar with the Bulgarian sand. This seaside is made up of loose, dry sand which is very tricky to drive. After having all this distance done, this totally messed up the driving skills, resulting in stiff SSVs and cars. The camp, located in the village of Shkopilovci, uses a brand new hotel complex completed with the latest spa equipment and procedures. One true relaxed opportunity after this long and action-filled day. After the long and hard Marathon Wednesday, the teams were introduced to the northeast part of Bulgaria, and it's not off-road tracks. Today, the teams had to start from the same place where they finished, the beach of the Black Sea. The cross-country went north and the extreme went south. One true different challenge awaits them all today. The extreme people started fast and ended short after 1 kilometer of beach driving with the first extreme section for the day. Several sandy dunes which were marked in a manner which resulted in a fight of winch cables and friendly help. And this was only the beginning. After some distance again, the winch cables were put under test to pull the cars out of several ravines and holes. And while the extremes were winching up and down on the hills around the village of Shkopilovci, the cross-country people were again fighting head-to-head with the terrain. Starting from the beach in front of the camp, the teams had to face another 5 kilometers of sandy dunes before starting their fight with the north side of Starplanina mountain. It gave the teams more speed and several truly off-road sections where they could feel to be on the top of the world. A mountain-rich clear forest and hard descents around them, magnificent scenery which could only be fully understood if they could stop and enjoy. But that was not their task. Today they had to run another 260 kilometers divided into two specials. Today's stage was a combination of speed, technical climbs, already known navigation precision, and last but not least, a true fight with keeping the vehicles running. With over 1,500 kilometers of racing, the stress and exhaustion was in everybody's mind and body. Several teams have already quit the stage because of problems on the vehicles, others by small accidents, which left them unable to drive or ride. Some showed heroism despite their injuries and problems by trying to keep up and actually finishing the stages, a true victory of the mind and soul. Still, the finish wasn't an easy task again. Those 5 kilometers of sandy dunes from the morning were again on the route, but this time on the opposite direction. It was clear where the finish was, but for the team with mechanical problems it looked so far away. The top teams didn't have time to think about that. It was full throttle and maximal speed in order to keep their times at minimum for the overall ranking. And still the battle was on. One more day, and one last special stage was the thing separating the competitors from the well-deserved rest. With the final kilometer showed in the roadbook, there wasn't a single moment to relax in what will later be known as Planet Off-Road. The last breathtaking stage for both the extreme and cross-country category was on. Again, the teams start by passing under the concrete pier and then continuing on the sandy beach with the last 113 kilometers in the tricky mountain terrain. The teams had to drive over the mountain ridges for some distance before descending down into river valleys and driving fast towards the finish arch. The extreme category, on the other hand, had another short but filled with obstacles track where the public could watch their last technical driving sections. The finish line was prepared early because it was all clear where the competitors are and how much time they needed in order to reach the 113th kilometer at their trip computers.
Ние даваме на всички участници в нашото рале, както на състезатели, така и на оргата и на медиите, усещането, че са в държавата офроуд на планетата офроуд. Просто мисля, че организацията е изключително добра и никой няма грижи за каквото и да било. В крайна сметка трябва да докажем на всички, а и ние го правим от много години, че в България нещата могат да стават и българите са добри в правенето на такива състезания.
Very nice. I enjoyed it a lot. We had a nice last day.
The roads in Bulgaria are very tough, much more than we expected. Navigation was also quite tricky and demanding, but we're here, finally finished. Not in the place we wanted, but next year.
Технологично състезание, защото наистина е трудно. Сега след като завърши си давам сметка, че всъщност това е изпитанието пред водачите да запазват и колите, там се запали нещо, да се запазят и колите и да поддържат и скорост и да пазват навигацията.
Yeah, it was a very good race. We have 8 wonderful specials. The landscape is wonderful. We had a few technical problems, but we fixed them and we're very happy to be there.
Тежко състезание. Много тежко. Отдавна не съм карала толкова тежко състезание с така конкуренция, но все пак доказахме кои сме, де, на финала.
Страхотно състезание, страхотна организация. Няма какво да кажа.
Fighting the tracks for 8 days and passing the well-prepared 25 special stages with a total of over 1,800 kilometers, the people were both happy and sad. Happy because the late nights and early mornings are over, but sad because the adventure was at its end. Happy that the team that managed this event has finally got time to chat and give them a thumbs up, but sad because it is a whole year until the next Balkan Breslau. Happy because the fights are over and winners are known, but sad because it is a long way back home. But still, Balkan Breslau wasn't fully over. As this is Breslau, nothing is left without a personal touch from the Orga team. A spectacular show was especially prepared for the Balkan Breslau 2013. The teams had the chance to see in person the beauty of the Bulgarian national folklore and the magic of the ancestors, women walking on fire. Then all gathered to dance under the national rhythms around the fireplace. It is all there. The prize-giving ceremony for the Balkan Breslau 2013, held at the beach, meters away from the last point of the long and hard roadblock track.